Welcome to another edition of Radio Influencers, a podcast series we're doing for Radio Update. If you've watched or listened to this podcast regularly or read many of the articles that I've written for Radio Update, you're well aware that I'm a big proponent of radio stations doing more video content. I think every on air talent should have an audio video podcast. They should all be doing lives on social. Every on air studio should have cameras. Every on air interview should be audio, video, and on music stations pre recorded ahead of time so the best bits can be used on air and social media, and the full thing can be uploaded to the station website and YouTube channels. Plus, the one thing that I've been harping about a lot lately, all radio remotes and live broadcast should also be video. Stick around until the end, and I'll break down exactly why I think all radio stations should do all of this. But on today's episode, I want to talk about two affordable and easy to use platforms that can help radio stations capture and share more live and pre recorded video content. To be clear, as of the filming of this video, I have no affiliate deals or sponsorships, ad buys, or brand deals from either of these two companies. I have paid accounts for both, one because I use it for our in-house stuff, and one because I have clients that use it, so I wanted to learn how to use it as well so I can coach them up on best practices. Today we're going to look at Riverside and Streamyard and compare the two, and I'll record each segment on the respective platform. Riverside. Full disclosure, I've used Riverside to record podcast episodes for over a year now, so I'm more familiar with their platform. Some of the good things, here are a few of the things I like about this platform. Like a lot of these services, they have a free plan that lets you get used to using it, record 2 hours a month. The free account is 720p and watermarked, of course, but it lets you try out the service, and you can do unlimited video calls on the free account as long as you're only recording 2 hours per month, something I don't think a lot of people realize. Once you're serious, most people will jump into the Pro account, which has a ton of features. It records in up to 4K, AI transcripts in 100 plus languages, AI show notes, which are remarkably good. Just watch the name spelling on oddly spelled names, otherwise I don't bite you. AI magic clips uses AI to turn every episode into reels for social. These are incredible. They've gotten to the point where I hardly even have to adjust them. I would say on a 30-minute episode, we usually get anywhere from 5 to 7 reels. On an episode that goes up to an hour, the AI will pull out, I've had as many as 12 or 13 reels that the AI has pulled out of that. It's got a built-in editor that saves me hours in Premiere, teleprompter for the host, the ability to take live call-ins, and for an extra $10, the ability to live stream in 1080p to multiple destinations: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Twitch, TikTok, and there's a custom RTMP ability to stream to that. Side note, recording a remote interview or live streaming in 1080p requires 5 to 8 megabits per second. Up and down. 4K takes about 25 megabits per second. So even though I have a 4K webcam, I still do everything in 1080p. Plus, it makes for smaller files that are faster to render. So this was recorded in 1080p, and it's going to be put out in 1080p. Where Riverside really shines is the fact that it records local multi-track copies of high-quality audio and video. That's why the easy way I describe this to people is that it's basically a Zoom for broadcasters. Because it's saving a local copy to each machine, host and guest, internet issues on either side will, of course, affect it in real time, but it won't ruin the final product, which has saved my rear end more times than I can count, because you can't control the quality of the connection on the guest side, and even when we've had issues wherever I am, if I'm in a hotel or whatever. Overall, the audio and video quality on Riverside is incredibly good. Now, a few of the bad things, there's quite a price jump from the Pro account, which is $24 to $30 per month, depending on annual or monthly billing. And their business accounts, which were $450 a month last time I checked, then $50 each additional studio. So there's quite a big difference between those two levels. Single stations and individual podcasters will be absolutely fine with the pro account, but for larger groups, there's a lot of benefits of the business account that would be great. The ability to control guest input and output settings, so you're not having to walk them through it. Additional camera controls, async recording, which allows your guests to record without you. Something I think stations could use for client testimonials. Imagine you could send them a link, they could go in there, record it, you've got all the files, and you don't have to be physically present on the other end to do it. Producer mode, advanced editing tools, and the main thing, everyone's under one umbrella, which makes it a lot easier to collaborate. So if you had a lot of stations, it would all be under one thing. That's the main reason why I'm really considering jumping up to a business account, so my consulting clients can get those business account benefits for just $50 per month per studio, and we can jump in and help them download and produce anything for them, and so on. So that's the main thing I don't like. I wish they'd also add a level between those two, since it's such a big jump. In their defense, they continue to add features into the pro account. Like, it didn't used to be 4K, now it's 4K. So also the scheduler works and syncs with my calendar, but it can be a little bit jinky at times. Streamyard. Here are a few of the things I like about Streamyard. They also allow you to start for free with basically the same restrictions. Ability to automatically play intro and outro videos. I recently had a virtual meeting with someone, George the tech guy, who had a really smart idea for how to use this kind of feature. If you join early, you're treated to a video of him walking you through how to make sure your setup is good, including audio and video settings, how you're framed, and so on. I thought that was really a brilliant idea for something to pre-roll before your guest comes in. Their studios in StreamYard are a little more customizable in the regular accounts. Ability to easily do squares, circles, rounded cameras, and all of that's included in every plan. It's easier to customize the branding in StreamYard, like fonts, lower thirds, banners to help kind of summarize your points, or viewer comments, live viewer comments for live streams. All of that's a little bit easier in StreamYard. Also, their business plans were a little bit cheaper than Riverside a few months ago when I checked, but I'm not sure if that's still the case. It has a lot of the same features as Riverside, up to 4K, AI transcripts, AI reels, ability to upload media files to play during the recording or live streams, and you can multi-stream to all platforms at once. Also, there's a few I haven't seen in Riverside, hotkeys, which could come in handy, and the one that I've used on Zoom before that everyone likes is Touch Up My Appearance. I'm using it now at the halfway setting. It seems like it's taken a little of the red out of my face. Of course, you could obviously do this in post, in Final Cut or Premiere, whatever you use, but it just saves you a little time. For example, here's what it looks like with the Touch Up My Appearance setting turned off. Another good thing, StreamYard seemed to get into or break into the radio industry a little before Riverside, so they have a little better market penetration in radio, in my opinion. So I have more clients that were already using StreamYard when they brought me in, which is why I use it as well, so I'm familiar with it. A few of the bad things about StreamYard, a little coy with their pricing, possibly because it just went up a little bit. I'm on the advanced plan, and it just went from $49 a month to $88.99 a month. It's dinging the credit card. So with no notice, I actually, I say that, no notice that I was aware of. It could be that it sent me an email and I didn't catch it or got caught in spam or whatever. I actually just saw it when I was going through the settings to record this episode. So that's not cool. The big thing I've noticed that concerned me, at least on mine, I've noticed it glitch a few times, that negatively impacting the final product and making me have to edit around it, which is big for me when I'm trying to turn something around quickly, something that's obviously critical at radio stations as well, of course. To be fair to StreamYard, though, because I've had a few of those glitches when I'm recording something solo, I've never risked recording a podcast interview on it, so I'll make a point to do that that soon. They do promote that they're capturing local recordings, so I'm sure they're doing that. And when I edit this, that will be from a local recording. But in my experience, Riverside's local recordings work a little bit better. I'm not techie enough to know the behind the scenes of why that's the case, but it just seems to be the case. Also, Riverside will allow you to record the audio in up to 48K instead of 44.1. If that's possible in StreamYard, I haven't seen it, but that may not be a big deal unless you're an audio snob like I am. Before I get to why all stations should do this, since this is a versus, let me choose a winner. My intention wasn't to cop out, but it kind of comes down to the main thing you're trying to do with the service. Like so many of these, in my opinion, for pre-recording high-quality interviews, Riverside is hands down the winner. Their software's ability to capture a local copy of the high-quality audio and video tracks saves me, constantly, like I said before, because you never have control over the quality of the person you're interviewing's internet connection, and when you travel, hotel Wi-Fi's terrible. I have a couple solutions I'm working on to help with that. I was using a Verizon 5G business gateway, and that was working pretty well, but it's a little bulky to travel with. So there's a new solution I'm about to try that I'll report back on that's smaller, and it's supposed to work even better. So I'll talk about that in a future episode. I also like the built-in editor and AI tools a little bit better to create reels in Riverside. But if live streaming, either single or multicam, is the main thing that's important to you, then I would choose StreamYard, because that's really their specialty. That's the main thing they started doing, and I still think it's the best platform for that. So one of the big pushbacks I get from radio folks, radio friends, colleagues, and even some clients is this: Andy, why are you trying to turn radio into something it's not? I didn't get into radio to be on camera. And yes, I get it. I don't like acting like it's picture day every single day. I like wearing what I want to wear too. I also like not having to worry how my hair looks. And I'm not nearly as comfortable on camera as I am behind a microphone. I've been told I talk with my hands way too much. My mannerisms and gestures are over the top. And this one's my favorite. I have one side that's significantly less camera friendly than the other, is how I've heard people put it. Don't try to figure out which one, please. But that's a real nice way of saying you have an ugly side, Andy. I've also done some video shoots where they put everyone else on risers so I don't look freakishly tall. So no, I'm not, I fully get the not being comfortable on camera part, but there are too many reasons to incorporate video for any of us radio folks to hold out any longer. With all the prosumer gear that's out there, the costs have gone down considerably while the quality has increased dramatically. And all of that prosumer gear is specifically made to be easy for video novices to operate. The cameras are also smaller now, so they're easier to hide in a studio and make them less obtrusive. And plus, that also makes them much easier to travel with. But the main reason we all need to be capturing more video is how well it translates online and on social media. 30 to 60 second video reels way outperform everything else we can share on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on TikTok, especially if you're willing to boost that stuff once it starts getting traction. Having video on our websites and YouTube channels opens up a lot more sponsorship opportunities, especially when it's long form. Select long form video can also work on social media, and if we understand the restrictions, there are sponsorship opportunities there as well. I'm talking about live videos on all. Plus, being video content friendly makes our studio more appealing to advertisers who want to create their own content and non-advertisers willing to rent out our studios. That's another revenue stream all stations should be tapping into regardless of market size. I think there's a feeling that unless you're in a major market, there's not really a market for that within your area, and that's not true at all. Everyone is a content creator nowadays, or thinks they're a content creator, or wants to be, regardless of the size of your market. There's there's definitely people that would pay for that. What do you think? Email me your thoughts, or better yet, record them on video and send it to me at andy@radiostationconsulting.com, and we'll try to include them in an upcoming episode. We'll be back next week with a new episode of Radio Influencers. Radio Influencers is a radio update production. New episodes are released on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.